Hello, MS Live. I'm your host, Dulci Hill, and I'm trying to go live on Facebook, but I'm having a tad bit of problems, but no, I'll figure it out. Let's see, they keep changing. They keep changing. All right, let me try to get. So I got a lot to talk about today. Let's see here. All right, here we go. For you. All right. So it doesn't. I don't know why it's not doing it. Okay. I'm supposed to cut. Let me cut. No, I'm not gonna do it. Anyway, today we're going to talk about bladder medication. Let's see. Bladder medication, thermoregulatory disorder, and more. Some medical marijuana. Pete, I was reading your email today, and I almost answered you. I almost answered you instead of starting this. Right? I can't start. So they must not want me to go live. All right. Let's see. I can't go live. I can't go live on Facebook for some reason. Anyway, so what I'll do is I will. Here we go. I found it. Okay. Okay, I'm live on Facebook now. So hello, MS Live. I'm your host, Josie Hill, and now all the technical problems have uh, worked themselves out. So today I'm going to talk about bladder medications. Uh, Specifically, there's just a number of bladder medications that you guys always ask me about, and some of you asked me about. Remember, the classic medications they prescribed for urgency is Ditropan, Detrol, and Vesicare. And there is the one that begins with M, and I top of the mind awareness issue. But there's something they give to little kid bedwetters at night, and it shuts your bladder off for 12 hours, or let's see, two squirts is 8 hours. Two squirts, 8 hours. Two squirts, 8 hours. One squirt is 4 hours or 2 hours. It is not something you're supposed to use every day. You're only watching it. Hi, Maureen. You're only doing it at night to sleep to get so you don't go to bed or on your spouse, unless he's into that or she is, and that's cool for you. You know, but it's desert. Hi, Daniel. But this is desmopressin. All right, desmopressin. I have been on it for the past 15 years. I just don't I don't know if I could do life without it. Getting out of bed in the middle of the night for many of us is dangerous. We get out, we've done our nighttime either cigarette smoke, we've done, now maybe we take trazodone, maybe or Tegretol, or maybe we take something to make us sleepy, but anything that makes you winds you down a bit will make you dizzy. And getting out of bed a couple hours later to go to the bathroom is a risk of falls. Uh, yeah, and you don't want to do that. So what? How do you maximize Flomax? Flomax, yeah, Flomax is. Does that work for you? Flomax, Daniel. Let me Flomax because it's interactive. So let me look at what Flomax does. Yeah, Flomax is a prostate thing. Yeah, it is Flomax. So if you're a male, Flomax. Alright. So and then desmopressin. Let me read to you. Pressin. All right, here we go. So we wanted to talk about desmopressin, uh, oxybutylin. Now, here's the thing that many of you don't know is that to treat diabetes, all right, desmopressin is used to treat bedwetting, hemophilia. I don't know what hemophilia is. Anyway, hi Bill. But it's a synthetic normal humane arginine, antidiuretic, uh, uh, antidiuretic hormone. Eighth position for that's pretty interesting. So desmopressin is a hormone that shuts your bladder down. Stuff. Now, Vesicare, you've been taking it for years. All right, it's the expensive one. It doesn't work any longer for you. All the medications we take to relax that spasmodic bladder, anything you take, is you're gonna get your body gets used to. So I'm sorry, I'm watching my husband steal my car, take my car. I am not happy about it. Anyway, I fell. Brian just stole my car. Wait a minute. And I'm looking at the window. All right. So, many of the medications we take, we have to take more of. We have to because we build the tolerance. That's why all these medications you build the tolerance, and you can't. So, all right. So, desmopressin, you build not desmopressin, Vesicare. We're talking about Vesicare. You're going along, you're taking Vesicare, and all of a sudden it stops working. What do? Hi, Susan. Hi, Susan. So what do you do? What do? You call your neurogenic urologist. There's two in the state of Maryland. And if you're Maryland, if you're any state and you have advanced MS, you need to see a neurogenic urologist because no longer is the problem in your bladder. Hi, Nancy. It's not the problem's not the bladder. The problem is not that it's not behaving right. The problem is that your brain, the message, the bladder is sending message that it's going uh, up and sending it to the brain and saying, get to a bathroom fast. The problem is that it's got so many scars to go through the message. There's all sorts of accidents on the turnpike. So the message is trying to get there, but it's short traffic. Short traffic. You gotta sit there, right? What happens when you sit there too long? Well, you gotta go. So or what do we do if you're on, say, Ditropan and you've been taking it for a while and it doesn't work? Now's the time to change. Call your urologist. Don't take my word for it because I'm not a doctor, but you develop it's true. You can study this, you can look it up. Hi Rose. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Ah, Rose, you've been with me for a long time. You've been with us, right? Brandon. Hi, Brandon. Oh, Brandon, you brought meat last week or this week, actually on Tuesday. I had a lot of fun with you, Brandon. I was thinking about you. On me. So the point of this is that the longer you've been on these medications, say Detropan, Ditrol, Vasicare, it stops working. Since day one, Rose. Since day one. What year? Because I'm not detailed. Are you detailed, Rose? Since day one. What is day one? What was it a year? Was that a month? I know the MS Live is. Yeah, I know you have, Rose. When I was doing the 2 minute videos, should I go back to adding 2 minute videos? And I'm having. By the way, the Tuesday MS live stream, I got notification from YouTube that I was in violation of spam of. I was in violation of their rules. I don't know what, and it wasn't the medical marijuana. It wasn't what we were discussing. You know what I did? I gave you my email address, and that's what it is. I just, I understand that I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to do that. Thank you for figuring that out. Oh my goodness. That is because they let me know if I violate that rule 3 times, they're going to remove the channel, and so that is scary stuff. Uh, um, Tizadine, you know what? Tizadine. Let's see. And Ruth with us. Ruth says, yeah, think about your baclofen. She's talking about the Xanadine. Ruth is saying it with all, well, in her experience with tizanidine, which is spasticity medication. She needs 4 capsules nightly now instead of 2. If you notice, same thing with baclofen, where if you take one, it would make you sleepy. Now you're taking 2, 3 times a day. By the way, do not take more than, let's see, three is 120 milligrams of baclofen orally a day. You can't do that. That is the top. Everything I tell you not to do, I've done. All right, let's start there. I've done. So I was taking 160 milligrams a day, and that really upset my doctors. So, but you know what happened? Your body. So I wasn't sleepy, and I was just trying to break the tone. What happens is your body gets used to one a day. You move up to one 3 times a day, and then 2, 3 times a day, and your body gets used to it. With all drugs, with the and I'm talking about the oxybutylin and what generic Ditropan, uh, with any of the drugs you take, you build the tolerance, right? You just do, you do. So what happens when you build the tolerance? You talk to your doctor. You know what I would suggest is go down to the pharmacy, look the pharmacist in the eye, and say what are the other medications that does what this medication. go directly to the pharmacist, write them down. You can do the research, um, and you write down what you prefer, and you let the doctor call the neurologist and or the urologist and tell them what you want, and say tell them, you tell her, tell her what you want. I mean, they can only what they say no. They say no, and you ask why. Want to know, and they give you why it shouldn't be. And you write down what they say, and you say what do you suggest as an alternative? Um, Unfortunately, and it's not fair. It's not fair that we have to deal with a cognitive decline, and yet we are supposed to be so sharp. We're supposed the cognitive decline gets us to trust the doctors more. We need these doctors to make decisions for us, and they're not. And if they do, if they didn't take in consideration things that we felt they should have. So if they're not going to do it, then let's get together and let's talk about resistant medication resistance. Let's talk about uh, when our body needs relief, and do we increase medications? Do we increase narcotics like the pain clinic said, or do we try the yeah, do we try to self medicate? Do we I I I like doctors that are receptive to talking to you. I don't like that my neurologist now requires me to come in every 3 months. So, question: uh, is it because he wants to make darn sure I don't have an attack, or is it a copay? Because I'll tell you, when I go in and he sits there, it sure feels like a copay because he's not adding to my life. Is he charting things? Is he? It's true, Rose. Rose, you were going to tell me how when we started. All right, all right. And Rose says doctors today do not like when we know too much about our medication. We the medications we need because they think we are drug seekers. Sadly, it's so upsetting. Well, you know what? They can't argue with the facts. And to be honest, many of our doctors, uh, they're doctors. It's finite. It is finite. Um, when I was undergraduate going to school, and I took pharmacology classes, and I analyzed acetaminophen, salicylic acid. When I started studying what is in medications, and chemotherapy is really what we focused on, it was amazing. It it was amazing, and I took medical classes, and there was a book. What was it? I've got it right here somewhere. It's a little red book, and doctors would carry it in their back pocket because depending on their illness, you could look up the illness and it says the medications commonly taken with that illness. So they're like, all right, so they tell you what, all right, we can try this. It's so these doctors, they nowadays they welcome people who know a lot about their disease. Once you develop a relationship with these doctors, now you're their partner. They depend on you to ask questions. I've discovered that it is um, if you general practitioners, it is great. Neurologists, I've discovered everywhere over the years. Sometimes they tend to be bullies. They tell you the way you're going to be. I want you on this medication. What's that? And then they say, Dulce, I want you to try to go off baclofen. You take too much baclofen. And I said, well, what is my alternatives to baclofen, doctor? Well, your alternatives are you can have the baclofen injection in, or you can do the tizanidine. Well, wait, doctor, tizanidine makes me really dizzy and sleepy. I really don't want to take that. Well, that's our choice. You take tizanidine, you get the baclofen pump. Oh, wait, doctor, I don't want to get the baclofen pump because I am 108 pounds and I swim all the time. Won't it be like having another leg sticking outside? And how often do I have to fill it? And what size do you get? And now the doctor says, I don't know. These are questions for the baclofen pump person who puts it in. All I do is fill it. Oh my gosh. All right, stop the skit. All right, do your research first. All right, do it first. Show up and say, all right, I know that my body's gotten used for baclofen. I recognize these are my choices. The baclofen pump, tizanidine, and I've been on MS Live, and I got help from other people who gave me suggestions. So I've gone to msfrontiers.org and I looked at the symptom medications. I mean, there is lots of stuff. So, doctor, I recognize these are the common medications. Uh, that is posture and control. That you don't look like a tired whelp at the whim of your neurologist. The way it typically goes is you go in to see the neurologist every 3 months because that's what they want. You're like, you're kind of sleepy. And the neurologist says, so, Dulcie, how are you doing? Dog, I can't keep my eyes open. I'm so sleepy. I go to the bathroom all the time. My ditcher pan is not working. I don't know. I'm done. And the doctor says, okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to order. I don't give out Ritalin anymore, or painkiller. In fact, what can I think you should be assessed for a baclofen pump. So I'm gonna have you contact this doctor who puts it in. And crazy. All right, stop the press. Do you see the breakdown in communication going on between a doctor who's talking to a catatonic person with MS who's going every 3 months because the doctor wants a copay, and he's telling us that. And Susan, you're right. We can do that too. We have to. We have to. And if you're too tired, talk to the neurologist or create a couple notes on a piece of paper to go to talk to your doctor, general practitioner, to send your neurologist a letter, email through my chart, patient portal. I don't know how you can do it, but get his or her email and send it to him. Send questions, and be. It's like maybe take a little chapter out of my life, and I'm saying that is that I have so many notebooks. All right, so what do I got here? A list. I like to do in this here is when I was doing vapes, I was putting down, why, what I liked about certain vapes. You know, if I'm going to try it, right, and I'm going to spend $50 a vape, then I need to write down what works and what doesn't. Same thing with medication. What am I dealing with right now? Uh, uh, and I just copious amounts of notes. So I write it down, write it down, write it down. You find it a couple of years later, you realize you never took advantage of the things you wrote down. But you know what, Gina, you come out of the neurologist, and I'm frustrated that day. Gina lives in Canada, and the more she learns about how to treat her own disease, and she presents it to the neurologist, the more pushback she gets. The more they're like, walk away from what you're studying, because that's not how we do things. You want rhyme or reason, Gina. You want rhyme or reason, and you are in Canada, and we're not doing things for logic anymore. We are Justin Trudeau is your president. Yeah, everything is assembly line, right? This is how we are supposed to do it. Doctors in Canada are middle management, right? Middle management. All right, so let's see. Susan says, "How they just look up their laptop." That's true. They used to have. Remember, they used to have Palm Pilots. Remember they Palm Pilots, and that was in the '90s. They'd walk around. They're like, okay, they put in your symptom, and it comes out, but they don't know the side effects, the interactions of the medication. You take a baclofen along with, say, you take a tizanidine with a gabapentin, and all of a sudden you can't see straight. You're so dizzy. A pharmacist needs to tell you, you know what, you can't do it. Yeah, those two will give you really an unhappy result. Uh, and Sarah says that she had incredible fatigue, and it turned out D and B12 were low, much better now. And I went to, because I get blood work often, and that was the same thing with me, Sarah. They took my blood, and they did a vitamin scan, and they found out that I was uh, way too high on D, because I'm always out in the sun, SPF 5 million on my face, because I don't look like a Sharpay. But I will. I will. Everybody will look like a Sharpay, because nobody gets look at like a supermodel. You right? And you know, well, yeah, they did. If you die young. Um, so anyway, uh, so it was the same thing. It was very low on B12. So now I have to take a B12 supplement every day. Uh, uh, Not D3. And but I'll tell you what, D3 supplements take during the winter. Take if it's raining for a couple days and you haven't been out in the sun, you actually don't listen to me, because I'm not a doctor, and I can't tell you to take something if so get out what I just said. All right. Don't take any vitamin unless you ask your general practitioner to do blood work and find out what you're deficient in. That is, you know what? It's it's reasonable to do. It's reasonable to do blood work. But I know. Let's see, CDC. Right. That I thought. a peck. Okay. All right. So what did I just say? Somebody, what did I say? Don't gabapentin. All right. So, all right, blood work. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email my general practitioner. All right, and I'm taking notes here because I want a vitamin and mineral. Write all this down. Right. Vitamin and mineral blood test. All right. The, CD 19 and 20, which is standard. A chem level, because you got to know how everything's working together. Um, but and that's what I wanted to tell you. Also, so get some blood work, and then assess your vitamins. Whether you should be taking calcium, magnesium. I also have to schedule mammogram. They want me to have another colonoscopy, but I had one at 50, no, 48, and I'm not doing it. CD 19 and 20 cell designators. Do you remember me telling you what CD 19, CD 20 was? Does anybody know what CD 19 and 20 is? And does anybody know the problems with gabapentin or Neurontin? What are the side effects with Neurontin? Uh, I'll give you one. I'll give you one. Is that your body gets addicted to it, so you can't stop it. Uh, if you don't like it, you can't go cold turkey. You have to wean yourself. Dangerous that way. Uh, GABA. So what I want you to do, if you take gabapentin, Neurontin, I want you to research it. All right, research. I want you to go to your pharmacist and at CVS whatever and pull them aside and say what is the good and the bad about Neurontin. If you don't want to research it yourself, they'll print out a whole good and bad about it and hand it to you so you can sit on your couch and read that or have more added to your list of things to do. So and it's all right. So all right, and CD 19 and 20, right? CD Ocrevus, rituximab, any of these monoclonal antibodies. We people with MS love to tell other people, I get chemotherapy once a year to treat my MS. And oncologists kind of giggle. And I'm friends with a couple oncologists. I'm friends with many doctors, a couple pharmacists, and they sit back and they laugh. No, Tisabri is not a monoclonal antibody. Tisabri is like glue. It works a different way. Monoclonal antibodies is monoclonal. It's one CD clone. It's one monoclonal, one cell. It kills the cell designators on B cell. It's a CD 19 and 20. I think we remember you got a cell, and you've got designators all around the cell. So it looks like that. So pretend my fingers are really small, and they're each fingertip tells that cell what its job is. Well, not to Sabri, Ocrevus and these monoclonal once a year IVs go into the bloodstream on the B cells and they kill, let's say they kill CD19 and 20. All right. So they kill, let's see. All right. CD19 is out. Right. So, and CD19 will say, tells that cell, tells this cell you're allergic to myelin. Myelin's bad. It lies to the cell. So it tells that white blood cell to go and kill the insulation on the nerves. And that's what it does. So you can measure when you are at risk of attack when the CD19 gets above 6. Uh, that is on paper what the study says, the pharmaceutical study says. It's a 6, right? There's a clinical way. What did they say with Ocrevus? They said, well, our protocol says that every 6 months you want to keep it as close to zero as possible. Therefore, every 6 months, people are going to get this medication. That's a protocol. That is probably what they're doing in Canada. If we can just put it on the schedule, it's the assembly line. There's no expensive test. We don't have to find out if your CD19 and 20 is low or has now gone up to a point where you're in danger of having too many of these cells going around and looking for something bad to kill. And it's not what usually when we're going along, we're not stressed. It happens when we have a sinus infection, we fall, and we get another boo boo. You know, I got them all over, as you do too. But you know what? Again, you can either look chemically that you need, there's evidence that this medication you take is needed. And I like to see the clinical reason why. I like that. But uh, um, anyway, so you threw me. Ruth wants to know exactly what CD19 and 20 it is in your blood, an indicator. All right, you're going into the weeds a little bit because that is a technical question. It's a wonderful question, uh, but I'll tell you what, in it's something that we need to discuss after. Maybe message me about that because people CD19 and 20. Here we go. Okay, and anybody can do this. Uh, it's the questions to ask. All right. B lymphocyte antigen CD19, also known as CD19 molecule, that is in. Oh my God. All right, so what I'm saying with Ruth, if you go into any search engine and you do CD19, uh, it'll tell you. It will tell you. So I can specifically talk about how the watch is made, right? And I like that. When I talk to neurologists, I want to know on paper the reason for their decisions. I want to know that, right? What do neurologists want to do? And this is true with you, Gina. They're like, yeah, you live in Canada. It's a luxury to know the law. We, our hands are tied. We're not allowed to give you these tests because they would rather treat people with MS the same way. And this is our protocol checklist. Our checklist is that the CD19, these tests they do in other countries, we're not going to do. We're going to just treat you uh, uh, as the protocol says every 6 months. Because every 6 months you will, whether you need it or not, it'll get your CD19 20 to 0. Um, my neurologist wants to do it every 6 months. Yes, and every month he tells me I'm going to get my CD19 checked. And you know what I'm doing? I'm a bad girl. I shouldn't tell you what I'm doing because I'm trying to milk it out. I don't want the copay. Ocrevus copay. I don't know how you guys can afford it. I just don't know. And that's one thing, Gina, is that I wonder how is the cost of Ocrevus in Canada because it is the co-pays we have, even the rituximab, the generic rituximab, my co-pay for that is $71. $71 once a year. So I'm waiting to find out how my neurologist is going to charge me for giving the infusion in his office. So let me. All right. Also, I want to talk about thermal regulatory disorder. Uh, all right, and they're talking about GABA, not yeah, gabapentin, and both Susan and Rose are taking it, and they both, and then you take. All right, and Rose says it's 3,600 milligrams per day, and Susan takes two in the morning and two at night, and Lyrica is another thing that I really like for pain, but the side effects is you swell up. I mean, I or oh, that's good. Let's see, are deaf. Okay, what kind Dr. Hus? You know what? It's awesome. You know, I would have, you know, I have so many, really, I have a couple of really close friends that are, are diff, what are you saying, Ruth? I don't know. All right, so Ruth is saying something about CD1920 are deaf. They're deaf. Deaf, so they don't hear, guys. Please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of you, Ruth. Gina, GABA has horrible side effects when you start it. If you try to stop it, I have yet to find anything that helps with burning feeling on. All right. On her leg, so she can't find anything with burning feelings. And I know that pain is listed as a something that we deal with. And I'm going to tell you something. When I look at MS pain and they say, oh, the burning, limit, signs, spasticity, and I'm thinking, that's that kind of pain you can handle, right? Because when you sit down, it's like your skin's being pulled off. Oh, I see. I see. Um, Ruth, it's one of the ways they look at biomarkers. Actually, what is it? CD4? I think is more of a biomarker of evidence for malignancies. But no, CD is cell designators. So the CD tells that are there are little um, dots around the cell, and it's like I believe you have a hundred of them, and each one tells the cell its job to do. Right? Each one has. That's why there's taking killing one of them that is making your cell rogue, make it act like is not supposed to kill that nerve. You have an autoimmune disease because you get a cell that uh, or you have a cell designated that tell that cell that there's something in your body that is foreign. It's an antibody, right? And so if you kill that cell that will not hunt that down and create an MS attack, then chances the evidence suggests logic you won't have as many of these killer MS cells going on, right? So the problem is that when you take one monoclonal antibody and all of a sudden you're given another one, you, you can't keep taking different types of monoclonal antibodies because the more things that you kill, the cell designators you kill on that cell, the more you kill, all right, say my fist is a cell. The more you kill, the more susceptible you are to the good things that it does. The good things that these cell designators cause. It prevents cancer. So if you do two, I don't know. All right, I'm telling you about how it works. They're, they're cell designators. CD, cell designators. They're not cell markers. They're not cell markers. They don't mark the cell. And yeah, so you'd have to define cell markers. What do you mean by cell markers? Yeah, because it's a designator. Each one of the cell designators tell that cell to do something, good or bad. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it takes one bad. Uh, what? It takes one bad. It's one bad grape to ruin grape juice, right? Oh my god. All right, it's really expensive equipment. Do you have private in? All right, wow. It's, but don't think it's necessary since she never changes everything. And Susan, I reached out with a pharmaceutical company who wanted to talk to somebody with both relapsing remitting and secondary progressive. And they're paying money, and I reached out to them. But none of these pharmaceutical companies want to talk to somebody who was diagnosed in 1993. And I've got evidence. I've got two different diseases going on. I have the active relapsing remitting, which I take, I need Ocrevus or I need rituximab. I need something to keep my active disease at bay. Problem is that right across all neurologists or many neurologists are treating people with secondary chronic progressive with Ocrevus, with these medications in, and it's kind of sinister in a way because in concern that this could, you could have an attack, you can have a catastrophic attack. But anyway, I was trying to figure out. I got that's funny. Anyway, I've got one. Anyway, I love you guys. So we talk about, all right, another thing. Yeah, designate. All right, we talk about swimming, and I'll let you know that last week, um, Nancy, look into generic rituximab. It it doesn't kill the B cell. Ocrevus kills also Ocrevus and rituximab is made by the same company, right? It's the same. But rituximab, they didn't get FDA approved. They did not put they didn't put the research on that because it was going generic. It was going uh, generic. So why are they going to put money behind something that now anybody can make a copy of and sell it cheap? No, they created Ocrevus, got it approved, and started charging just a lot of money. Uh, um, so I'll tell you what, and so Ocrevus and rituximab is the same thing, except rituximab, when I did a video a while ago, it's got 16, yeah, gosh, I must have done it 5 years ago. It's got 16 years, 5 years ago, of a safety and well tolerability record. For people who took it for rheumatoid arthritis, for MS, and also for rheumatoid and then leukemia, chronic leukemia. That's and I researched that. Go to PubMed. PubMed, Bruce. You want to talk about seeing how the cog in the wheel work together to I mean, it just, I don't know. MS Frontiers medical support is something I was doing that was totally in the weeds, and I do that. I get in the weeds, but after a while, you're standing in the weeds and you're thinking, does it matter? I've been explaining the weeds for what 15 years now. it, I've been explaining the weeds, and let me tell you something. I Who cares about the weeds anymore, right? Who cares about how the watch is made? I did this with medical marijuana. I charted everything. Cherry punch, blue cheese, mimosa, what it does with exhaustion, cognition, social. Does it make you antisocial? Pain, uh, and all of these. I have that, and I wrote down what it is, and the amount, the dose. A small hit, a little bit of a hit, or a big hit. Well, how does it change? So it's true. It does. It does. It does. It all matters. Hi, Eduardo. No, it's not Eduardo. It is. I'll think. I'll remember your name in 1 second. It is Eduardo. Eduardo. But anyway, I know I need to be reading. Uh, okay, gabapentin. They're talking about gabapentin. Uh, and So I was talking about neurologists putting on us on medications to kind of protect. It's like putting on a seatbelt. They use medications, disease modifying medication, the way the government tells us to get in our car and put the seatbelt across our lap, right? What happens if you are riding your low lawnmower around? Do you have to have a seatbelt? So when the government tells you you've got to do things in a certain way, uh, I, I'll tell you in 1 minute. When All right, I am losing track because I'm getting too many questions, which is awesome. Keep throwing them at me. It's an exercise for me to. So the government tells you got to put on the seatbelt, right? So your neurologist is acting like uh, the government and saying, well, you have long-term multiple sclerosis. Let's put you on this medication. Uh, 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 just in case you have an active disease. So you won't be getting more attacks that are going to lead to further disability. But the thing is that it's only, they're studying the statistics that most people with secondary chronic progressive MS don't have active disease. They have just the one disease. The old disease that has now turned into secondary progressive. Nerves are exposed and you're not feeling as well. Are you having new attacks? No new activity. It's the same stuff getting worse again, right? So do you need to be on medication? If your MRIs have been stable, you're not on medication, or if they're completely stable, again, this is something you need to talk with your neurologist. Especially, because any medication you take, uh, any medication you take is something that's taxing on your liver and your kidneys. Uh, it's throwing you off balance. Um, Ruth, Ruth has a question: why not do edibles instead of smoking? And I'll tell you why. I have got edibles. This here, dewdrops, is an edible. It elevates your mood slightly. It takes the haze up. So I do edibles. Problem is that the edibles are not as easy to. They don't list the terpenoids. They don't list the reason why you feel good in a certain way. So it's better for me to do a vape and look at the amount of what's in there. If you do a vape, the chemical compounds are available, so you know that. The edibles, you've got to rely on the budmaster to say, well, here's honey lemon edibles. It's supposed to relax you. Terpenoids, yes, it is, but that's a whole. It's terpenoid, terpinoids. But that's something else that needs to be Googled. Also, I know I said we were going to talk about thermal regulatory disorder, and I just want to say that even the swimming pool's at 83 degrees. It was windy and cold yesterday. I swam a half a mile, and I had my just my jacket on. It's 2.5 millimeter jacket, and I got cold. I got really cold, so I've got to go back to wearing my shorty what I wore all winter. Again, you could see they had a chlorine problem. They hired somebody and this is not that old. This is only 6 months old. But you know what? It is 3 millimeters. Guess what? Keeps you cool and it keeps you warm. So it for those people who get cold water. And yesterday, I it started. I started getting chill. So the last 8 or 16 laps, I was cold, and when I got out, I just was really cold. So I thought, all right, instead of complaining about being cold, what can I do? And bring my shorty. Uh, I will. Tomorrow I'm gonna swim. Not today. Today I'm gonna finish planting garden. I'm ripping out some grass and physically. Now remember, I can't walk very well, but I can't. I'm using my scooter everywhere now. But what I can do is raindrops make oceans. Raindrops make oceans. Think about that. I've got to wash the dogs. I've got to plant a couple of the vegetables. You know what, Ruth? If here's the best place. Good question to finish on. I'm going to finish on this. All right, best place is msfrontiers.com. There, if you scroll down, there is disease modifying medication. I made this chart years ago, and I did this based on the fact that the old school disease modifying medications compared uh, their medication's effectiveness versus no medication. It's changed. It has changed over the last 10 years. So these are older medications up to what you have to do is you go there. It is old school. It lists the different medications. It lists in the order of effectiveness. So if you scroll all the way down, you'll get the most effective ones. The very top ones are the it's the way it's the order they like to go in. So that is good. Also, you can go to msfrontiers.org, or I'm sorry, .com. We own them both, but .com, and look at how to treat the symptoms you're having. When the neurologist says, I can't do the pins and needles, when you tell your neurologist that, uh, and he doesn't say anything, you know what works for pins and needles? One of the things is if you get the Cuddle Duds leggings, you get leggings and you pull them over your pins and needles, your burning sensation legs. It buffers. It's like putting skin on because your body is so raw. So put on some skin. Anyway, I know I had such plans on talking to you. The big thing is that with thermal regulatory disorder, danger happens when we get too hot. As we have MS for a very long time, uh, we don't know. No longer do we know that we're getting overheated. You're sitting there, and all of a sudden you're incontinent, your head's on the table, and I'll tell you, I got that. But anyway, I love you all. And Ruth is talking about low dose naloxone. I can't say that. I can't say. I know. I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry. I know. I'm over. All right. I love you. Let me pray us out, dear Heavenly Father. Thank you for everybody here today. I pray that they use the resources that we all brought for each other. Just msfrontiers.com, and just allow us to be instruments of thy peace, not being in our pain, but just being the kindness this world needs. Lord, allow us to just to be the answer to the pain that people are in, and get out of our brains. In Jesus' name, I give thanks. Have a wonderful weekend. No toxic. Yeah, still can't say it. Yeah, naltrexone. All right, love you guys. I will have a wonderful weekend. Be kind to yourself and be cool. All right, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye. Bye, guys.